I'm wearing my new
Well,
bifocals.
hello again. Oh, nice. All right, we are live. Hello again to all the boys and girls out there in YouTube land watching. John and Ellie of Georgia Beer Reviews back at you this evening with a special examination, being joined by Michael Kormeroff, the Stout King over in Brooklyn.
Hello,
Michael.
everybody.
And we are going to go ahead and get right into it. We're drinking barrel-aged stouts today. So, Michael, I'll let you go ahead and tell everybody what you've got.
All right. This is from Brooklyn Brewery in Brooklyn, New York. And this is their Black Ops. Let's read what it says here. Barrel-aged stout. And it's barrel-aged on 4 rows, in 4 rows as barrels. I'm not sure the time period, but 12.4 alcohol and 70 IBUs.
Oh, they put the IBUs.
So I think it's a Russian Imperial Stout is what it is, and it's barrel-aged
with
for
70
that, for whatever period of time on the barrels. And it used to come in bottles in the early years with champagne yeast, but this was their second series that they did. And it's been done several years, but this is a different style of can. So there's no date on the can, but this was probably made in the last sometime in 2024, I would assume, or 25 even.
Yeah,
it's probably newer because there's another can of the same thing that's different earlier. It's been made since like 2021 or 2022, I think.
Right.
When the original one came out.
Yeah, I've had the regular Black Ops many times. I don't think I've ever had the 4 Roses version though. So it'll be interesting. You've had it before, right?
I've had it before, and it was done at one of our beer tastings too, and it did relatively well. Again, we'll see what happens. Obviously, it's not necessarily Bourbon County level, but whatever it is,
Right.
We'll give it a fair rating.
Sounds good. Well, if you want to go ahead and pour it up, I'll tell everybody what I'm drinking, and then we'll be ready to dive in. So while Michael's pouring his up, I'll show you what I've got. This is, you may be able to see that Treehouse logo. So, yes, it is another Treehouse beer. And this one is called Triple Berry Truth. It is a beast. It is 17.1% alcohol. This was not a cheap bottle. I bought this to share with Bumpy when he came to visit last week, but we didn't get around to it. So I'm going to try it out tonight. And it just says Vintage Winter 2026 edition. So it's a new bottling. And it's already, it's aged in different bourbon barrels. It doesn't specify which bourbon barrels, but it does say that the barrels that they age this beer in are between 18 and 26 months old. So quite a lot of barrel aging with this beer. And as the name suggests, Triple Berry Truth, there are raspberries, strawberries, and blueberries added to this beer. It says conditioned on raspberries, strawberries, and blueberries. So I guess once they take it out of the barrel, they pour it over the fruit and let it sit for a while and soak up those fruity notes, and then they bottle it. So it had a wax seal. I went ahead and went at that as best I could before we went live. So hopefully I can get into this without too much trouble and success. All right. So I'm hoping for this price point that this is going to be a world-class beer. Oh, and it smells delightful.
I think one of the more interesting things about my pour is the head is holding up and not going right away, which happens on some beer. Again, it's 12.4. It's not as big as yours, but look at how the head retention you're getting still.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's not fading away.
As you can see with mine, there is just a tiny, thin little ring of head around the glass, really nothing in the middle. And I would say that's like a dark, like a beige colored head. That is a very dark head. The beer poured into the glass kind of like motor oil. It's definitely on the thicker side, but it sure does smell delightful. What aromas are you getting on yours, Michael?
Let's see. And I guess, would you say my head is a little bit more mocha than yours? A little bit.
Yeah, yours is more like a mocha, or like a dark tan or a mocha color. That's what it looks like on camera. That's impressive that it has that much head at 12.4%, to be honest. Did you pour it aggressively into the glass?
I poured it just down the side so it wouldn't. I never sent to pour these because then it can be really disaster. But I did a side pour, and like I said, if that holds up like that, that's very good. Let me see what kind of nose I'm getting.
Nice. Cheers, drunken one.
I'm getting some of the barrel, some of the oak right on the front, as I'm some of the bourbon too. Let's see what else. Some chocolate, dark chocolate too. You can tell the difference in the chocolate, more like a baker's chocolate.
Nice.
Was that drunken one who just came on?
Drunken one's in the chat. He said, "Oh, geez."
He knows we're at it again.
Yeah. These high ABV barrel-aged stouts on a Sunday.
What else am I getting? Some maybe dark fruits in as well, but they're more background. It's not in the really strong parts of the front. But a lot of the oak, a lot of the barrel and bourbon on the front for sure.
Nice. All right. Vanessa Kitty, cheers. She's in the chat as well. All right, so this Treehouse Triple Berry, I'm getting a ton of bourbon, which is good. I was hoping for that. It is really bourbon barrel forward. I'm getting a lot of dark fruit, a lot of wood, some toffee, and you're picking up. I'm picking up a little bit of like the fruity, maybe like the raspberries in there. It's like a tart type of aroma, which I think would probably be the raspberry. Maybe a little bit of the strawberry. But yeah, there's a nice fruitiness to it, but the lead aroma is that barrel aging, that barrel presence is really, really prominent or really prevalent on the aroma. Maybe a little bit of tobacco too. It's definitely giving me some Bourbon County vibes. I had a 2023 bottle of the Bourbon County Backyard Stout a couple weeks ago. I found it at the store, and that was the one that had the mulberries and the Marion berries, and it smells very similar to that. So a lot of dark chocolate. You get a little bit of that fruit, and then just a ton of bourbon in the best possible way. But you're not going to mistake this one for a lighter stout. The aroma is a dead giveaway that this is a behemoth of a beer, with the ABV being at 17.1. But it smells really delightful. So
I'm getting some coffee on mine too after I took another thing. But it's not, again, that's more of a background taste.
Okay.
You want me to take you? Should we take sips at the same time?
Let's do it.
Cheers, John.
Start describing it. Cheers.
Wow. If you want, you can go first.
I'm almost speechless here. This is really good. It's not too thick. I was worried about that because I bought one of these bigger bottles before, and it was really like drinking motor oil. Like the thickness was just too much. It was cloying. This one is more balanced. The barrel presence is so strong right up front. There is a ton of tobacco right up front that you get with some of the really nice specialty bottles of Bourbon County, like that sweet tobacco. Dark fruits galore, dates, figs, plum. And then there's a little bit of tartness. I think it's from the raspberries. It could be a combination of the three, but I'm not detecting like strawberry or blueberry flavor. I'm getting that tart, slightly acidic, fruity note like that you get with raspberries. That's definitely in there. But it's more subtle than I thought it would be. Triple berry, I was kind of expecting it to be like really in my face with the berry notes. It's very subtle. But I think it's done perfectly because it's nicely balanced and it doesn't override the bourbon barrel forward notes that I'm getting. Sometimes you add all these things into a really nice barrel-aged stout and you lose the barrel presence. This one is front and center with the barrel notes. Really nice. It is a full body, but it's not super, syrupy or thick. It's very easy drinking. And the alcohol, I mean, it's warming going down at 17.1%, but it's not as boozy as I thought it was going to be based off of that really bourbon forward aroma. So first impressions are very good. I'm going to keep sipping on it. And I had taken this out of the fridge about an hour ago. I walked out here and took it out. So it's not ice cold. It's kind of, probably like 45 degrees or so. It's really nice. And I'm already detecting a lot of those nice subtle flavors from it being set out a little while ago. So I'll keep sipping on it. You go ahead and tell us.
Okay, take a look. You notice the head is going down a little bit. What I was going to try to do, I didn't pour my whole thing. I'm going to pour in the rest and see if that activates the head at all. It may or it may not. This is a 16-ounce can. Is yours 500 milliliters? What's the size of your bottle?
This is a big one. This is, I think, 550. Let me check. One pint, 9 ounces. So that's 16 and 4. So it's a 25-ounce bottle.
Right. So yours is the full size one. Yours is like the ones that. Okay, that's bigger.
Yeah. Yeah. This is
okay. Let's see. It did regenerate the head a little bit, but it's still not as high as it was when I first poured it. It was still impressive for a 12.4. That the head didn't fade. Let's see if I'll get anything else.
Cheers, Jason.
This is more like, I'm trying to compare this to other bourbon barrel aged things that we have tried. It's not as intense as the Bourbon County ones are, but that's not necessarily totally in a bad way, because it's a little bit more laid back, but it still has the characteristics. It doesn't have the tobacco in it, so I'm not getting that, but I am getting the dried fruit.
Present you properly. I forgot to do that earlier. That way everybody can see what you're drinking.
And it's not syrupy. It's more a little bit lighter feel to it, but I would say it's medium body to high body, somewhere in between there. You really can't compare this to the old bottle version, though, because what made that one interesting is by the champagne yeast that it had, the carbonation was different. This one has kind of like a fizzy carbonation to it, which I think helps make it more balanced as well, or make it seem more balanced.
Sorry, Vanessa's asking, aged in wine barrels. No, so the one that Michael's drinking, Vanessa, it's aged in Four Roses barrels, which is a bourbon. So it's aged in bourbon barrels. But there is a Four Roses, or you might be thinking of like Wild Irish Rose, or so. There's a lot of wines that have a similar name, but it's bourbon.
I'm getting some like cocoa nib kind of quality to it, as well as I got the chocolate before. Now I'm getting cocoa nib kind. So I guess again that's kind of a dark chocolate kind of feel too.
Right. So not as sweet with the chocolate notes. It's just more of like a darker chocolate.
Now that's a plus that this is not sweet, because I think we've discussed this before. When you get into some of those really sweet barrel aged, like dessert types, we've had them too, and sometimes they can get cloying really fast. And to sit around and sip on 16 ounces of something that's so sweet with every sip, if it's not balanced, it really takes away from your enjoyment of it. This one's not sweet.
Okay. Yeah, mine's kind of in the middle. It's a little sweet from the berries in there, but the barrel notes are kind of balancing that out really nicely. I got to say, this one here, this Triple Berry Truth, is probably one of the most tobacco forward barrel aged stouts I've ever had, like even more so than some of the Bourbon County. It is that is the very first thing that I detected was tobacco, dark fruit, the oak, and then you get the sweetness from the berries kind of in the middle to the back of the sip. This is super dang at 17.1%. I mean, you could get this down pretty quick. It's not, I mean, it's definitely a sipper, but it doesn't drink to the ABV that it is.
I was thinking of some of the other qualities that are in Bourbon County. Are you getting any leather? Because that's something that you don't get in every barrel aged thing. But you know that leather that you get in some Bourbon County.
Yeah. Not so much with this, not so much leather. It's more tobacco and the dark fruit. There's almost a little bit, almost comes across like a cola note almost, like a sweet kind of cola note in the middle as well. But yeah, not any leather with this one, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Sometimes the leather can be distracting. Like I prefer the tobacco notes over leather if I had to pick. So it's hitting all the right notes for me for sure. There's really no carbonation with this. I mean, there's just a tiny little bit, but very low carbonation with mine. Just I think, because it's such a high alcohol beer, it's hard to have a really fizzy 17% beer. So what about yours? How's the carbonation in your beer?
It's kind of like a fizzy carbonation. It's spread out. It seems to do well. And I think maybe that's why the head, and I can regenerate a little bit of head by doing it. But even the fact that it has this much head and that nice lacing on the side shows that, the carbonation is having an effect on it. For sure.
Right.
Yours is like more, even though it's not thick, it's thicker.
Right. It may be hard to see on camera, but as I swirl it around, there's some alcohol legs going down the glass. So, but yeah.
Really is this nice. The best Treehouse one you've ever had in terms of their Imperial Stouts?
I think this is going to have to take the cake. Yeah, I think this is probably the best barrel-aged stout I've had from them. And it's just the length of time in the barrels, 18 to 26 months. That's a long time, 2 years in a barrel or in multiple barrels. And then I guess they cuvee them together. So they have select bourbon barrels that they're using. This is really good. So the Truth series, that's their Imperial Stout series. So the Triple Berry Truth is, this version, but they have a regular one. I've had a vanilla bean one. That one was a little on the thicker side, and it was almost too sweet with the vanilla. I think the berries work much better in this type of beer. It's just the right amount of sweetness. I would still say it's more on the dessert side. This is something you want to drink at the end of the night after dinner or whatever. Obviously, you're one and done for something like this, but yeah, really enjoyable. I was a little worried it might drink more like a pastry stout, like it would just be really, really thick and almost cloyingly sweet, but I'm very pleasantly surprised, and I'm glad that it's not, especially for the price. I wanted this to be top notch, and it has not let me down so far. But yeah, really just a fantastic beer. You would really like this.
The alcohol in mine is masked, but it's I'm not going to claim it tastes like 8%. It probably is drinking like 10% instead of 12.4. So you can tell that this is high alcohol. You're getting warming, and it's a little boozy on the front, but the fact that you can, keep drinking it shows you that it's not, it's not bothering me to continuing to sip on it. It's not heavy duty. I still have one more of the bottle, the bottle ones. Remember, I did one with you last year, I think, when it was like 9 years old. These are the 2016 ones. I had the second one, and I think I told you at the time I was going to wait until it was 10 years old. I felt safe after the last one was okay. And
that one's not aged in the Four Roses, though, right? The Four Roses.
That was just, they don't even tell you, just some generic bottles. But their big claim was champagne yeast was used so it would be kind of like a spritzy carbonation to it. And it did, when I opened it, it did pop, and it held the carbonation really well. I always worry a little bit on these cans if the cans can hold the carbonation as well as the bottles can. but it's a matter of, there's probably a lot of factors involved, whether it can or not. This can is less than 2 years old though, so I don't even worry about the carbonation in something like this. But you remember, I have that 6-point stuff, the Cojito Cowboy, and I did finish my last Black is Beautiful, so I don't have any more of those. But I still have one more Cojito Cowboy, and that's another one, 15.4. So be interesting. Now I bought a whole case at the time, so I've been drinking them throughout. For the most part, the carbonation's held up okay. I may have found one where I was just getting the enjoyment out of the product, and the carbonation could have been better. But that can happen with anything.
Right.
There's no guarantees on anything.
It's kind of weird that, you would think that the bottles would lose carbonation at the cap more than the cans, but it seems like the cans, for whatever reason, seem to have a harder time maintaining carbonation after a couple of years. So,
and I don't know if I told you this either. When I came back from Europe on the trip that we took in 2018, and we went to that what's it called? Trappist brewery, and it was the only one we could actually enter the brewery and at least try the beer on tap. And what I bought a Bruin at the time, so that's from 2018. So figure out the years on that. That's got at least 8 years on it. I looked it up, and the type beer that it is, good from 2 to 12 years. So it just goes to show you, with the Belgian yeast in there, which is in all those type Belgian beers. If it can have a top end of 12, I'm not even worried about that either. And I might decide, I don't want to bring that to a beer tasting, because it seems like a couple of people in my beer group do not like the Belgian style. And why should I waste something like that on people who aren't going to enjoy it?
Right. Yeah. True.
I could split it with somebody else and, just whatever. Or I could have it on a special occasion, whatever. But it's also kind of thing you have. It's a 25.4 ounce bottle, so it's big.
Okay, yeah. Cheers to Ron. Ron's beer reviews and tools in the chat. Yeah, Ron, I know you go to the Tewksbury location, Treehouse location every now and then. So next time you're there, you got to try one of their Triple Berry Truths, or any of the Truth lineup. Barrel-aged Imperial Stouts are really good. Have to do a review on your channel. I've seen you do Treehouse reviews. I haven't seen you drink any of their stouts, so be interested to know what you think.
When Bumpy was in to visit, did you drink mostly other things, and that was why you didn't?
Yeah,
obviously you're not going to split that unless that's a lot. Also,
right? Yeah, we had a couple of, I think, barrel-aged beers, but we mostly drank. He brought over a couple of like farmhouse ale, saison, stuff like that. That Plan B Brewing, I don't know if you've heard of them, but they do a lot of the farmhouse style ales. So we had a couple of those, and I think we had a barley wine, which is a higher alcohol beer. So by the time we got done with that, we were both. It's almost like we wouldn't appreciate something like this that late in the evening after having some already pretty heavy hitting beers. So plus we were playing darts, and you can't
doing other stuff. So you'd want to kill anybody.
We wouldn't have been able to stand it, I don't think, after drinking this one. So, and I'm going to recap the rest of this. I'll probably pour a little bit more, but I'm not going to. It's way too early to drink a 25 ounce, almost 20%.
I got you.
But yeah, I mean, I am really really impressed, and I guess it's warming up a little bit. It wasn't ice cold to begin with, but just more tobacco coming through on the nose as it warms, and really the dark fruit. So the berries that they add in here are very subtle. I thought maybe as it started to warm, I would detect a little bit more.
So the biggest thing you're getting from the berries is the tartness that you can still feel.
Which that slight tartness, I think it works really well because this is such a heavier, higher ABV heavy beer, that the slight tartness from the raspberries is kind of lightening the beer up. It gives it, kind of brightens it up a little bit, makes it easier to drink. So, but yeah, this one's really good. I'm gonna top myself off here and then recap this, but gotta have a little bit more.
Now, this was somebody gave me this can, so I don't know what the cost is, but it seems like the 6 packs of this go for like $22 kind of thing. So it's reasonable. They're 16-ounce cans, and so 24 into 22, like $5.50 a can. Is that right?
That sounds about right.
The bottles were much more pricey in the day.
Mm. Yeah, they were bigger bottles though too, right? Didn't they use?
They were the full size bottles, same 25.4. They had the cork top on it.
Right.
So how's Caitlin doing?
She's good. Well, I say she's good. She's fine. She tested positive for COVID again yesterday. It's like the 10th or 11th time. She had a headache, and she's like, I get the same headache every time. She's like, let me test, and sure enough, she tested positive for COVID. So, but she's fine.
Well,
she's no.
The good thing about it now, which wasn't when in the first, since we didn't know before, you survive it well because the strain now is much weaker, so you could get a positive thing. And it seems like you rest up for 4 or 5 days and you're fine.
Yeah. And she works from home, so it's not an issue. But yeah,
she can take it easy anyway, so that's good.
Right. But yeah, she probably got it from me or from Declan, bringing it home from school, and we may have both had it and not even realized that it's just kind of.
No, the strains are very mild, and unless you're more susceptible where it hits you harder, basically it just runs its course a lot faster than it.
I think the big barrel-aged stouts help kill all the.
That'll take care of it. Well, that wipes out COVID. COVID says we can't handle it. But I remember when you had to wear your full suit when you were in Georgia and it was like 90 degrees, and you would talk to me about how it was like awful because you have to pull everything off, and it was like
it was so bad. I would have to go home around lunchtime and take a shower, and so I could work the rest of my day because we had to wear the full gown, and we had these face shields that wrapped around. It was like something out of one of those movies like Outbreak, or where they're like full body gear.
Right. Well, that was at the beginning where they were really worried what the effect would be, and it was understandable, I guess.
Right.
Audrey.
All right, John, I'm going to take a break for a second. I'll be back.
Okay, go ahead. Here, I'll mute you so you can talk. So yeah, I'll talk a little bit more about my beer while he's on the phone. But Treehouse makes some really incredible barley wines, stouts. They're really slept on by a lot of people because everybody knows Treehouse for their IPAs, the Julius, the Green, the Haze. But don't sleep on their barrel aged stuff, especially the the Truth series that I'm drinking here, Triple Berry Truth. Really fantastic beer. They're a little pricey, you're gonna cheers, John. They're a little pricey, but for the most part, they've been worth it. And it's a special thing. You're not going to go out and spend 30, 40, 50 bucks on a beer like this all the time, but it's a nice treat every now and then. And as this one warms, it just continues to develop. The tobacco and the dark fruit are really popping. The more I sip on this, the more that I think that this is the strongest tobacco aromas and flavors I've ever had in a barrel aged stout, which is nice. Here, let me unmute Michael. All right, you're back.
I'm back.
Okay. So yeah, I was just going while you were gone. I was just describing a little bit more of the beer and saying that this is, as it warms, it just continues to strengthen with the tobacco notes. I think it is really the most pronounced tobacco aromas and flavors in any beer that I've ever had, and that includes the Bourbon County Reserve stuff. It's just, that's what you get, I guess, when you age something in bourbon barrels for 18 to 26 months. That it just really has all of those nice notes from the barrel aging, the extended barrel aging. So yeah, Ron, next time you go to Treehouse, pick up any of their barrel aged stouts and do a review. I want to see what you think. But yeah, As your beer warm, I know. Well, it's been out for a couple hours, so it's already a little bit closer to room temperature. But are you picking up anything else as you continue to sip on it?
I'm getting a cherry note, which I think we've had in some of these other beers we've tasted. So, and it's not a sweet cherry note. It's more like I'm trying to just
like a black cherry or like a
black cherry versus a maraschino cherry. So there's no sweetness to it. It's more, but the cherry note is nice.
Yeah. Yeah, more like a tart cherry, not as sweet.
And I am getting some berry in mine too, but it's not a tart berry. It's more like a blueberry.
Oh, that's there's actually blueberry in this beer. That's one thing I'm not getting. If I had to complain about anything, which I guess it would be that I'm not getting any of the blueberry flavor. The primary fruit notes from the added berries is definitely the raspberry. But yeah, I'm not,
because mine's really not tart. It's just like berry-ish or black. It could be blackberry too. It's hard to tell the difference, but more of the other side of the berry than the tartness. I could not tell you that this is Four Roses, that it was the cast, though. It just tastes like generic bourbon.
Yeah.
The feel to it. But I don't know how you can't really tell.
Four Roses, Four Roses is a great bourbon, but they have the single barrel, the small batch. Those are the more expensive, and it just says Four Roses, so it's probably just the like the $20 bottle. Their base,
right? The generic Four Roses, the cheapest right. Four Roses.
But still, it's still a good bourbon. But
what are some other good? Is there another bourbon called Weller? Is there a Weller bourbon?
Oh, yeah, Weller is a wheated bourbon, and it's one of my favorites. But
because that's used, there are Weller barrels on some of the ones that are used, not in this, but in other ones.
Really quick before I'm going to go to their website, because sometimes on the website they'll give a little bit more detail about the beers. So I'm just curious to see if they mention the barrels here. So really quick too, right now they put out a bunch of these Truth bottles for winter 2026. So you have the regular Truth, they have a Spumoni Truth, a banana coconut Truth, and that's it. Actually, they don't even have the triple berry Truth listed anymore. I guess they sold out of that one. But let's click on the banana coconut because they're going to be the same barrels, I think. Yeah, 18 to 26 months. Okay, so no, they don't mention the barrels on the website either. I'm wondering if it's their own barrels because Treehouse makes bourbon. They have their own bourbon, so I'm wondering if maybe they use their in-house stuff.
Maybe.
Definitely be more cost effective to use their own stuff versus contracting with a distillery. But yeah, I think I've pretty much gotten all the notes out of mine. It just keeps getting more pronounced, like no new notes necessarily, just intensifying as the beer continues to warm up. One thing I'm not getting as much as that cola note that I initially mentioned. It's kind of, maybe that was just that initial adjusting to the sweetness of the beer. But now that I'm, continuing to sip on it, I don't really detect that anymore.
It's impressive at 17.3% that it's not boozy to the point where it's hard to drink. That's a good sign that they've masked it at least a little bit.
Yeah, good. No, they did a really good job. It's boozy in all the right ways with the bourbon barrel presence, but it's not like, it's not overpowering for sure. And I think I know what I'm going to give mine. I can go ahead and give it a rating here.
Anytime you're ready, I have an idea. It's got to be one of two things, but I don't know
I'm not going to give it 100. But I'm going to give it the next best thing, which is a 99.
Okay. You've given a lot of 99s.
Yeah. 100 is really, like, I think I'm knocking it down the 1 point just because it is a triple berry stout, and the only berry notes that I'm getting are the raspberry. I think a little bit of the blueberry would have been really nice, blackberry or strawberry. There's strawberry, blueberry, and raspberry. I'm not getting any strawberry or blueberry, but that might not be a bad thing. That might have kind of set it over the top in the sweet department. So don't want to nitpick too much on that. But yeah, it's 99. It's definitely a world-class beer. The only thing I've had that's better than this, stout-wise, would be some of the specialty Bourbon County stuff, and that's it. This is right up there with the best of the best. And it should be for the price. I mean, if they're going to charge $50 a bottle, but they have limited warehouse space. Everything is done in-house. If you have product that sits on the shelves or sits in a barrel in a warehouse for over 2 years, that's, space is money, so they got to charge a little bit more to make money off of these beers, but well worth it. It's a nice once in a while treat beer. That banana one sounded really good. The banana coconut, maybe I'll have to, if they still have it in a month or two, maybe I'll have to splurge on one of those and maybe share that one with Bumpy the next time we hang out. But
is that one $50 also? Is the whole series $50?
Yeah, the only one that is not $50 is the Truth, the original one. That one's $40. It's still barrel aged, but it doesn't have any of the added stuff to it. So I'd like to try that. I think I've had that one at the brewery. They had it on draft. I tried. They give you like a 4-ounce pour of it. So I'm pretty sure I tried that one. It was delicious.
So you're fortunate that you're so close to Treehouse where you can get the stuff. In this case, it doesn't have to be fresh like the IPAs do, but it has to be giving you access to it, which otherwise you can only buy it from them there. These bottles are not actually selling probably anywhere else, I would think. I don't know. Depends on how many they produced, I guess, where they'd be selling it.
Right. I haven't seen the cans of the Black Ops up here, the Four Roses. It's not. I could probably, if I go to like Total Wine or more, Total Wine and More, I could probably find it there. But like the local places don't seem to carry it. I haven't seen it. And as a matter of fact, the last time I saw the Black Ops was when they was in the big bottles,
right?
So
in the bottle, like I have the bottle that I have downstairs.
So that's been at least 4 or 5 years probably since I've seen it. Since they don't do.
Okay, I'm ready to give you my rating.
All right, what are we thinking?
96.
Okay, that's a good score.
And if you ask what I'm taking off for, the only thing I can really take off for, I guess, as we're going, is maybe the carbonation level. It could have been a little bit more, but again, maybe the can can't hold more of the carbonation, so maybe take off a little bit for that. But as far as overall, it's a really good. But 96 is it's not world class. It's just above several others. It's not Bourbon County level, but it's somewhere in between. And
Right.
at the price point, it's pretty good if get less than $6 for a 16-ounce can. That's not bad.
Yeah, I mean less than half the price of like a regular Bourbon County, so that's not bad at all.
So I'm happy with it. And what I was going to say, when we did I think the last one we did was when we did the 2025 Bourbon County with Elbow, and Bumpy didn't have that. He had something else, but he had another Bourbon County, a different one.
Right. Yeah, he had the.
Do you remember which one he had?
The 20.
Yeah, it had a variant. All the rest of us had it. Elbow gave it a 95. We were all in the 97, 98, whatever it was. Bumpy, I think we may have been harder on it, but he was higher on his. But he didn't love his. He thought it was okay. It wasn't the greatest. But I understand if Elbow is just recently into this style, it's going to take him a while before he can, totally decide that he, and 95 is still a good rating.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, he bought, he bought 2 or 3 of the 4-packs of the new, the 2025 release, and he's slowly drinking them down. I think the more he drinks it, the more he likes it or appreciates it, And
it's
I think
definitely a taste you develop over time, and something which you're not going to just automatic. And people who are novices shouldn't be drinking Bourbon County because you don't appreciate it.
Right. I mean, if it's one of those things you kind of have to gradually. Stouts in general, people that start with beer are typically drinking light macro stuff, so it takes a while to get into craft beer, and then just getting into stouts is such a different beer with the roasted malt, and it's heavier and darker. A lot of people never do get into stouts, but usually you start with like a Guinness or a Young's Double Chocolate or something like that, and then it's just over the course of months or years you kind of get a little stronger. Maybe you try like a Dragon's Milk or something that you can get at a grocery store, like an 11% barrel aged, a little bit lighter bodied, and then once you get to the Bourbon County level, it's all that's the bee's knees right there.
And there are, like you say, like Treehouse and like Other Half, and I'm sure Trillium makes a really quality stout as well. So you have these companies that are in, and California, there are companies that do stouts there as well. In San Diego, what's the pastry stout company that has all those? I think it's in San Diego.
Duclaw. Duclaw does a lot of pastry stouts.
They do some pastry stouts too.
What's the one you're thinking out of San Diego?
I'm thinking of one that, John, you've had, and I always see it in the ads. Let's see. Maybe I can figure out what it is. Who's
Well, Evil Twin does some pastry stouts, I guess, but
it's definitely in California, the one I'm thinking of. I think San Diego, but it could be somewhere else.
You're not thinking of the brewery.
Yes, the brewery. Are they pastry stouts?
They do. Yeah, they do.
And you've had some of them, right? You've had a few of them.
Yes, I've had some of their barrel aged stouts. Like tart. One of them was I think it was called Tart of Darkness, or it was a barrel aged berry stout, and it had a bunch of like raspberries or some other fruit. It was almost like a sour stout.
So that was more sour than the one you're tasting now. The one you're tasting now is more balanced than that.
Yes, and they also had one. It was called like Sour in the Rye, or it was like a sour rye stout, or they had a bunch of like crazy stuff, and they were priced. They were big bottles, like the Treehouse bottle I've got tonight, but they were cheaper. They were probably like $20-$25 for a big bottle, but they were really good. And I think they're still around. I don't really see their stuff up here in Massachusetts, but when I lived in Georgia, I got their stuff pretty regularly. It was
they do stuff. There's stuff showing up on Facebook where they show you like 8 of their bottles, and you have to go on their site if you want to buy it. Mm-hmm. A lot of times I have to decide. Sometimes it's the reason I don't decide to buy stuff is that the cost that you end up paying in shipping turns out to outweigh. In other words, you're still going to pay a lot of money for the bottles, but then to ship it, like a $25 charge to ship it, is it really worth doing it? In other words, to order, how many do you have to order to make it worthwhile to do it? Right. And then you have to make your own decision. I told that one time I did it for those Sierra Nevada ones, and it turned out to be a hoax. I got my money back. Again, whenever you do any of this stuff, always charge it. Don't do any kind of deal where it's done through Zelle or any other way that they get your money right away. Because then once they have your money, the credit card company has to protect you if it's fraudulently done. So I got all my money back. So it wasn't bad. It's just, it was weird. It was like they were selling everything half price, and that should have been a sign that it was impossible that somebody was really doing this.
Right.
It was on a Facebook page. They said, click in. And then I did, and I put the stuff in, and I ordered it. And Sierra Nevada does have an interesting barrel-aged stout that they do sell. Can't remember the name of it, but I ordered like
the barrel-aged Norwal.
Okay, so it was one of those, and it was, that in order to do it, and again, this is a tie-in with the fraud, you had to buy 5 bottles. So whatever it was half price over what it would have been at full retail. And to me, it sounded like a good deal. And whatever. And
it would have been a good deal if you got the beer for sure.
It's a good deal. Maybe it's not such a good deal. So when it didn't come, I called the credit card company and they checked it out. And it was like, it wasn't really Sierra Nevada. It was somebody who had like partnered in on the site and done their own thing, but they refunded the money. So, they turned it around and they reversed the charges. So no harm, no foul. And I'm more careful now before I do anything. We're having a little revitalization there where it goes back to the thing. Have you been watching Alex when he does his group? His Bumpy appears a lot and other people. Have you watched any of those?
I tune in sometimes, but he'll go for hours and hours and hours. Like he did one.
I mean, it's hard to believe he can go 4.5 and 5 hours sometimes where he gets people drifting in and out. Look, it's great that he can do it. It's just that you say to yourself, you have to have a certain amount of determination to do this. Doesn't it reach a point where, but if it's not old to him, then it's fine, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, no, good for him.
Chatio appears on those as well. I'm trying to think about Eric sometimes appears on those.
Yeah, he's got a couple of people.
Bumpy and Beer Man are regulars, I think, pretty much. And some other people I don't know.
He's got 2 or 3 that have become regulars on his show that I don't know. I think one of them's Cliff or Clifford, and then I can't think of the other guy, Keith maybe. I can't think of his name, but yeah, he's got a couple of regulars over there that I guess he met a while ago, and they join almost every time now. And then Chatio is another one that's always over there.
I mean, I watch it. I can't sit and watch it for 3.5 hours though, because I just don't have enough time. I mean,
if I watch, I usually watch like the beginning when they're like kind of reviewing beer, and then after the first half hour or so, or they may drink another beer, but usually they just start talking about whatever. It's not really like a series of beer reviews one after the other. It's like, we'll drink a beer, we'll talk about it, and then they just stay live and talk about whatever is on their mind for like 2 or 3 hours. So that's usually when I check out.
And it's fine, because if that's what he's getting off on, that's really good. And he obviously has people who follow his show, and that's all good. Whatever. I'll always watch whenever I can just to see what's going on. I have a little bit left in my glass here.
I have a little bit here.
And you have more for later.
And I have more for later, absolutely.
It's sad that Caitlin doesn't like Imperial Stouts, but it's funny. Audrey is the opposite. Audrey likes Imperial Stouts and doesn't like IPAs, but that's just life.
Yeah, Caitlin, she doesn't really drink much beer anymore. But yeah, she likes the juicy IPAs like Treehouse, Spyglass. That's about it. But she probably hasn't had a beer in 2 or 3 months. She just something with the carbonation. She's like not drinking soda or carbonated beverages much anymore because it bothers her. Because it bothers her throat. So a beer once every now and then, but she doesn't drink like she used to. But
Audrey has been hibernating this whole winter. This is one of the few times she's actually gone outside, but we had some really cold weather for a long sustained period.
I was going to ask you, were you even able to get out for a while? Like when you got all that snow and they plowed the roads, did the snow like kind of like press all the cars, like trap a lot of cars?
Well, it was weird, but because we have, you noticed, John, when you came, there was alternate side of the street parking. You noticed there were regular, I don't know if you even looked at the signs, but we have it where 1 day a week, you have to be away from the side so they can plow. In this case, plow the snow, but where they can have a street sweeper come up and clean the street. And now what's happened is after the snowstorm we had such cold weather, it iced on top of it. So it's been suspended for that whole time, and the snow is all still here.
Really? Wow.
It's going to start to melt now because the temperatures have moderated. I was going to say, I can tell you what it is right this minute here, and it's decidedly warmer than it's been. It is right now in New York. Let's see, what is it? 37 degrees, which, if you remember during the time, at night it would get actually 5 degrees, 6 degrees. And even during the day, it was getting into single digits and stuff.
Right.
And in the teens. So for us, it was very unusually cold. Now, it's a little bit colder, but
it's 29 degrees right now, but it got up to almost 40 degrees today.
I'm saying, so today it's warmer. Next week, I think here it's going to be even get close to 50 one day. So some of the snow will start to melt. But until they're able to get in when the cars have to go out and shovel the snow out, what's ever left, it's, kind of a pain. And I can't remember too many years where the cold set in right after the storm. But we are supposed to get some more snow tonight, overnight here.
Gosh.
But again, they're saying 1 to 2 inches. So we're not worried about it because compared to that big storm, we probably got maybe 9 inches of snow, which is a lot for us to get.
We got a lot more. We got like 22 or 23 inches here. And it's still, it's been over freezing probably the last 3 or 4 days. So some of it's melted, but there's still probably at least a foot of snow, and all around the yard. And
now, John, you had seen snow either in Georgia or Alabama before you moved, or you?
Oh yeah, but not nothing like this. The most snow I think I've ever seen before I moved up to Massachusetts was maybe like an inch or two. And of course,
that's why we don't trust the drivers in Georgia when they get an inch or two, because it's almost it's fun on the highway because they don't slow up.
And they don't have the trucks and the salt and all of that down there to treat it. So if you get a couple inches down south, everything just shuts down.
I'm just saying,
can't go anywhere.
I'm just saying. So it doesn't take much of a storm to close it down.
No, not at all.
We're at least used to it. New York has a lot of equipment. The problem is you have to be able to move the cars in order to get rid of the snow. As far as the roads go, they were done right away because they treated them with salt and they come through with the trucks. The problem is the snow that's wedged into the side. You got to get it out. And if you can't get the cars out or force them to get out, then it's really hard. Whatever. Do you want to kind of wrap things up?
Yeah, we'll wrap it up. So
we keep talking.
Your beer, the Black Ops 4 Roses 96, right? And then I gave mine Treehouse Triple Berry Truth, a 99, world class. So 2 pretty solid beers. Check them out if you get the chance. You probably have a much easier time buying the Brooklyn Black Ops than the Treehouse stuff because you have to live close to a Treehouse location. They don't distribute, but hey, if you're lucky enough to live close to Treehouse, go check them out. So yeah, thank you to everybody in the chat. Ron, Vanessa, who else do we have? John Womack, Jason Cleveland. Yeah, Vanessa Kitty, Drunken One. Cheers to all you guys. We appreciate you tuning in. So that'll do it for this stout Sunday of sorts. Barrel-aged stouts on a Sunday afternoon into the evening.
A little bit left for me, John. I know John finished this.
Almost, I got a little bit left. So yeah, 17.1%.
Cheers, everybody.
All right. Cheers. Hope everybody has a good rest of your evening, and we'll see you on the next one.
Cheers, everybody.